Aloha. Hey, it's Julie Ziemelis, 365Y and Keller Williams, Big Island. And I am here for our monthly island-wide real estate market and mortgage update. And today I have for mortgage, we've got Scott Wynn from Wynn and Eagan Team. We've got Eastside reporting in with Amber Haley, Real Broker. We've got Jana Mahoney, who will be giving us the Waikoloa and North Kahala and South Kahala report. We've got Eric somewhere coming in here to lend his 2 cents. So we're going to start this episode with Scott giving us what's happening with the mortgage market. So Scott, go ahead and let us know what's going on.
Sure, sounds good. So let me just give you a quick update on interest rates. Most recent market-wide update is that 30-year fixed mortgages are currently sitting at about 6.69%. That's down just a little bit from the week before, a little bit more from the week before that. So we're not seeing any significant movement in interest rates right now, but we did have earlier in the week the release of the CPI, the inflation numbers, which did show an improvement. So we are continuing to see a reduction in inflation. I think we hit a high of inflation at 9.1. We're sitting around 4%. So we've definitely seen a significant drop in inflation. Unfortunately, we haven't seen mortgage rates follow that significant drop yet, but I think it's definitely something we're going to continue to see as we go forward. The last couple of days, so the mortgage rates that I mentioned a moment ago are kind of about a week lag because of how they have to gather the information and then report on it and such. But the last couple of days since the inflation numbers were released, we have seen some improvements to the bond market, which will help reduce mortgage rates. So I think we'll just continue to see things come down little by little, and we're going in the right direction. So good news.
That is good news. Okay, that's good. And then future prognostication on this one. Do you see anything happening in the next 2 to 3 months? Remember, we kept talking about maybe the end of summer, we'd see some lower interest rates. Still feeling it?
Yeah, I think we're headed that direction. I mean, every inflation numbers are the really driver of this. I think we expected something better for May that was reported here a few days ago, but there were some increases that weren't expected in used cars, which is what caused inflation to go up. So kind of a weird number there. But June of last year, we saw a 0.6% inflation number. And I think really closer to 0.3 is what 0.4 is what we've seen here over the last few months. So if we take that 0.6 off and we add a 0.3, then that means inflation is going to come down even further. So I think this is kind of the beginning of the reduction of inflation and therefore interest rates. So I think we're going to see some lower rates, not probably in the 5s or anything like that by any time in the next few months, but maybe mid 6s or so, a little bit lower maybe. So yeah.
Okay. And then that's a good opportunity for you to, in fact, we just shared this with somebody who said, maybe I'll wait. And I said, the Wynn and Eagan Team is offering an opportunity that if you go with you guys for a mortgage, you will refi if the rates drop.
Exactly. We have a certainty guarantee. So we want people to be able to take advantage of the market because there's a lot of people that are sitting on the sidelines for that exact reason. They're waiting for rates to come down and then they're going to go out and buy because it'll be more affordable to do that. But if you're doing that, you can imagine that thousands of other people are doing that as well. And so what's going to happen when rates do see any significant drop, there's going to be a buyers flooding the market, and that's going to increase real estate prices and increase the demand. And there's already low inventory, which I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about here today, which is going to drive up prices. So if you're going to win on lower interest rates, you're going to have the loss on the higher prices. But the good news is with our certainty guarantee, you can take advantage of the lower rates when they do come through our free refinance and that certainty guarantee. If you buy now and get those interest rates a little bit higher, but have less demand. So
here we go. Good job. That's a good financial little opportunity there for people. And then in terms of anything else with the mortgage, the rates are good. Trends looking like, it's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, the Fed has talked about how they're going to continue to look at increasing their rates, the short-term interest rates, just to try to get inflation even further down. They have different targets they keep throwing out there. So I think that potentially here on the next Fed meeting, we're likely to see an increase there, which is going to continue to drive inflation down even further. I don't know that it's necessary from my opinion and from everything I'm seeing, but they didn't call me and ask me. So, but
They
the
don't know what
Fed,
they're missing. What the hell are they thinking?
I know, right? But the Fed increasing interest rates is just going to fuel the drop in inflation even that much quicker. So,
Okay, that's relatively good news. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
For those guys, for those of you who are waiting for the West Hawaii market update, Lance is going to be a little bit late. So what we'll do is we'll pop up the coast and talk to Jana about what's happening with the real estate market in the area north of Kona. Jana?
Okay, so Manalani right now has 8 active residential listings, and they range from 4.6 million to 21 million. So that's what's going on in Manalani. In Waikoloa Village, we have 18 current listings, and they go from 899,000 to 1,768,000. So that's an average in Waikoloa Village of 1,188,000, which is bananas, isn't it?
That's not the affordable housing that they had promised.
No, not yet. That's not here yet. Now for condos, if you look at condos that, I'm sorry, let's look at residents that sold in Waikoloa Village last month, within the last month. So we actually had 13 that closed last month. And the average was 1,025,741. So 1,025,000, our average that's listed actively is 1,188,000. So not too far off. And they're running about 98% of list price to asking price. So a little bit less than list, but not a lot. Only one residential unit sold in Manalani last month, and that was 4,900,000, and it was at a pretty big discount of 87%, which I thought was kind of interesting.
87%.
Yes, it was listed for 4,900,000 and it sold for 4,267,000.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So that's new. And when we look at condos now, again, back with the Waikoloa Village condos, we have 10 that are actively listed, and they go from 335 to a small studio up to 679, and there are 10. And then in Manalani, the active condos are 2,087,000 average. So you've got 1,098,000 to about 4 million, 3,995,000 for condos in Manalani, and there are 7 of those.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting as far as the active listings right now. 17 total in that whole TMK for condos. Last month we had 3 that sold in Waikoloa Village condos, and those averaged 473, but it was like 420, 400, 620. So they're just 3. That's it. In the whole entire month, there were only 3 that sold. So that's wild. And they sold at 96% of list. So people are starting, this time last year when people were making offers above the list price and you had pricing wars, that's not happening right now. And in the in the Manalani condo market, last month we had 8 that sold, and the average was 1,862,000. So they went from 1,030,000 to 3,350,000. So the Manalani condo market has at least 8 for sale, which is nice, or had at least 8 that sold and 7 for sale. So that's what's going on in Manalani. And the 8 that sold in Manalani last month were at 99% of list.
Wow.
So a little bit better, right?
Yeah. Hey, so could you tell us what might be happening in the Waikoloa Resort condo market? Is there anything happening in there?
Well, I mean, yeah, you've got some really nice condos in there. You've got the Kolea. Go back to Waikoloa Resort. Okay, hang on one second. I'm in the wrong.
I'll tell you one. We went and looked
Okay.
at it yesterday, and it was $4 million.
Yeah, yeah.
It had an elevator. You get in and you take your elevator up to your floor, and that is where it opens up like Manhattan into your own condo with this sweeping view, $4 million. I think
Well, you know, almost all of the condos in Waikoloa Resort have elevators.
I
They
did
don't-
not know that.
They definitely do not all have sweeping views. That's
Okay.
pretty rare. I mean, you get views in Kolea and in Vista and the end of Hali'ikai. Those are really the condos that you can get an ocean view from.
Mhm.
So right now they're active in the Waikoloa Resort. There are 7. And they go from 790,000 to 4.19.
That's the one I think we were in.
That's the one you were in, apparently. That's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath at Kolea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric,
And it does have
tell him
amazing-
about the amenities package of that one. So when you,
Yes,
we've
it
learned
had
this stuff, you guys, we've learned this like for the people on YouTube. If you are thinking about buying a luxury condo in Mauna Kea or Maunalani or in Waikoloa Resort, you use the words, what's the amenities package? So Eric, what was there?
I think the best one was that part of this amenities package was the fact that you could, if you had too many people to stay at your house, as long as you were staying on the property, they had an additional cottage that you could stay on the beach for your guests or you for a mere $250 a night. So you had 2 of those then. So if you had instead of having extra room, you just send them over to the beachside cottage instead. So I thought that was a nice amenity, definitely. You know what I mean? Instead of having to have an extra bedroom or something, you can just kind of work it that way, and it's a very nice place to stay. So some of the interesting things there.
There you go.
Now, I don't even know of any other condo complex that has that. That's really nice.
Yeah.
And they have a very nice pool, and they're right on the beach. Like you could literally walk out
Right
to
out
the
to the
beach.
beach. Yep. And
Yeah.
then I thought it was
This-
interesting too. They have a children's pool that's made out of sand, and it has a waterfall going into the children's pool that has sand. I don't know what kind of paradise that is, but that was pretty awesome. So
A safe place for your kids to put their toes in the sand.
right, exactly. So in terms of people thinking about Waikoloa Village, any like tips, tricks?
So honestly, there's not that much inventory. So the thing for all of Kohala Coast is be ready to pull the trigger. As soon as you find something that you like, have your financing in order, talk to Scott Wynn about getting a pre-qual letter because, you know, really it's difficult to even submit an offer now without a pre-qual letter. And this is kind of a side track that we're taking here, but I can tell you that the banks and the lenders like Scott that are used to working in Hawaii are going to understand the specific requirements of a Hawaii contract. So pre-qual letter, the conditional loan agreement, I mean, all these things that are required in the contract, sometimes mainland banks don't quite understand what those requirements are. So it's nice when you work with somebody like Scott that understands what the Hawaii contract is, frankly. And understands when I say I need a pre-qual letter, it's like, bam, there it is.
Yeah.
And I'm
yeah.
sure-
And also proof of funds sometimes is needed as well before you'll
Right.
go see some of those other condos. Hey, speaking of multi-million-dollar condos, do you want to pitch your listing there, buddy?
Yes, I have a beautiful listing in Maunalani. It's at the Villages of Maunalani, and it's 2,752 square feet. It's just a beautiful 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath. It's got mahogany floors, and it's got 40 solar panels. So, and on net energy metering. So that means that Helco is going to buy your electricity at the same price they sell it for, and that is grandfathered into this property, and you can't get that on any new places. But they have a Tesla charger, and they basically pay $32 a month for electricity, which is just the hookup. So it's really nice. Happy to show it to you. If anybody wants to see it, give me a call.
There you go. And Eric,
So
what
I've got something to add to that, by the way. I was there on Sunday and we did a drone tour of it. So I flew my drone through the inside of the condo, and we'll have it up in the next day. So we'll put it on the site here so everybody can take a look at it.
so you guys can see. There you go.
And
Okay, so anything else? Jen?
Well, yeah, let's look at, let's see, what else do I have over here? Okay, Waikoloa Resort condos real quick. 9 sold last month, average of 1,072,000, and they were at 97%. I'll just kind of whip through this. Puako, which is 369 residential instead of condos. There are 2 listings and 2 sold last month. And it's hard to even give you an average because they're just all over the place. Like there's one for 4.9 million. There's another one for 22 million. So if there's just 2, averages are useless, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Real quick, up at Mauna Kea, residential, there are 9. And the average sales price is about 8.7 million up in Mauna Kea for the residential. And the condos, there are 3. And the average price is 3,750. And let's see, that's it. That's all I have.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Okay, so if you are considering buying up in the upper areas of Mauna Kea, Maunalani, Waikoloa, Jana knows her stuff, and we got a chance to do some touring around there too, and there's some magnificent properties up there. So let's go around the other side of the island to Amber. What's your story over on your side of the island?
Hi, everybody. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let's talk some stats over in the Puna district and the South Hilo district. So let's start with Puna because that is where there are the most real estate transactions on this island. So currently the median home price right now is $345,000 in Puna, and that is down from what we saw last month when we did this update altogether. And it's down quite a bit from where we were last year, which was 380,000. So we have seen a decrease, and our average days on market is 69 in Puna. That's a lot more than where we were at a year ago, where it was 47. So that's what we're looking at for the Puna district. Now, the neighborhood that is got the most transactions happening that we've mentioned a few times before during this update is Hawaiian Paradise Park. So just to update you guys a little bit on that, because it is a really, really popular neighborhood right now. As far as single family homes go, there's 58 active on the market right now that are not under contract with a buyer currently. The prices range quite a bit from just under 200,000 to just under 200 million. So we have quite a variety of homes in Hawaiian Paradise Park.
200 million.
I know.
Half the island. What?
To 1.95 million. That is true. And that is just kind of really indicative of what it's can be like in Hawaii, especially in some of these large subdivisions. We have a lot of different types of homes. Some of them are really, really, custom, amazing houses. And some of them have, no county permits and are basically, just kind of like pieced together homes. So quite a variety. The most of that inventory of the 58 homes I'm talking about sits in between the $400,000 and the $700,000 range. I know that's kind of a range as well, but that's what most of the single family 2 to 4 bedroom houses are sitting at. All right, so now let's jump over to Hilo. So the South Hilo district, which includes kind of Hilo proper, that is sitting at $495,000 for the median price right now, which is actually up a little bit from last month. But last month there were only 14 homes sold. This month of data there were 21. So it's not a huge data set that we're talking about. And then a year ago it was sitting at 534,000. So it is down from where we were at a year ago, just slightly. Days on market is also quite a bit more. So that's how long the home is, sitting on the market. So 52 days is what we're looking at right now. And a year ago, it was only 17 when the market was just fast and furious. So to kind of sum that all up for you all, list to sales price in Puna is 81.24% right now, 81% list to sales price. So it really, really depends on how they have priced the home. Some of them are still being priced kind of high, and then they're actually selling for under list price. We still don't have much inventory over here in East Hawaii. I know it sounds like a lot compared to West Hawaii, but we do have a lower inventory. So, you know, if it is the home, the one, you know, you don't want to wait too long, even though things are sitting longer days on market. There's just a lot of tricky factors right now. So that's your stats.
There you go. Hey, and also in terms of people that you are seeing coming into the market, are people looking for new construction? Are they looking just for the deal? Are they just looking for a house that makes them happy? What are you seeing out there?
I see quite a mix. There are a lot of people that are really into new construction. So there's a lot of new construction going on in East Hawaii, a lot of typically 3-bedroom houses, some 4-bedroom houses, a lot happening in the Puna district, especially. So there are a lot of people looking for that. At the same time, there's a lot of people looking for kind of that charming old Hawaii style home. You can find a lot of those in the Hilo district. I definitely have a lot of clients right now who are just kind of waiting on the sidelines for a deal. I mean, that kind of always is true in the real estate market, but I feel like there are people kind of waiting for opportunities and just kind of like, oh, if something comes up, you know, I'm going to jump on it. So I'm finding a complete mix of all of that.
Okay. So I also have one for you. This came up from a buyer yesterday who wondered why in Hilo, all the houses look like they're from the 1940s and 50s and people aren't scraping them and making new houses.
Oh, well, you know, that's a great question. Hawaii or Hilo, excuse me, in general, I tend to explain to people that a lot of the homes there are just the older homes that are built in 40s, 50s, 60s. There is just a lot more of that there. So a lot of people who really like that style of house. I don't know that I have like a great answer for why they're not being scraped and all of that. I think that's like a much bigger question. But yeah, most of the there is new construction in Hilo. It is going to cost you quite a bit more than a new construction in Puna district. So I would say most of the people who that new construction is more appealing to, or the homes that are completely redone, you just don't find much of it in Hilo. So they tend to go looking down toward the Puna district if they're not over in West Hawaii. And same with up Hamakua Coast. There's not much inventory there. So you know, there's not a lot of options, but I don't think I have a great answer for that question for whoever asked them why. But that's just kind of part of the Hilo charm.
Yeah. So I guess it's one of those things. Well, that's what the housing looked like. And you should buy that house if that's what you want to fit into the character of the neighborhood, or go somewhere else. So there you go. Okay.
But you know what? I'd like to chime in on that too.
Yeah.
When all those houses were built in Hilo, there was nothing in Waikoloa Village. I mean, like it didn't start having a lot of things built there until in the 70s. And I think that some of the houses that are built in Waikoloa Village, sometimes people will bring a floor plan that they liked on the mainland in Colorado with their place or something, and they'll build it here, and it's not exactly geared for Hawaii living. Whereas I feel like when you go to Hilo, you have these very charming Hawaiian style homes that are built for Hawaii, and they understand kind of airflow and lighting. And of course you can see those in Kona, and you can see those in Waikoloa, but they're a little more expensive maybe. And I think some people that don't realize there is a pretty big difference in construction in like what you need to look for when you're looking for a house. And that to me is what Hilo is. It's got all those charming old school Hawaiian homes that have the jalousies and the beautiful trees that have been grown for many years.
Yeah. And you know, as I was going to say, with them, Eric, we were having a discussion about another aspect of like Hawaii living with these people yesterday. We showed some people some homes that had never been to Hawaii Island, and they had a lot of questions about things that we all take for granted, like, well, yeah, here we are.
I think the biggest one was the fact how different every section is, right? So like we were up at the resort, so it's quite different than down here. We went up to the coffee belt and it was quite different. And, you know, just how, and Waikoloa Village is completely different. And I guess people kind of have an idea that on the mainland, most of the houses are the same, but here you can get, you know, from 2 miles away, you can get a completely different vibe from an area than you can from a different area. So it's just something for everybody to think about how, you know, if you say, wow, that's exactly what I want this style, then you find the places that sort of fit that, instead of saying, you know, I want to live on the lava is a lot different than saying I want to live in the tropics, and they're both here.
Yeah, the jungle house. In fact, Tanya, who is she was trying to get in here today. She's got a house that's on the market right now for like 2 million. And we stood there yesterday and it's surrounded with lush. I call it lush landscaping. Our buyer felt that it was overwhelming because again, you guys coming from the mainland, there's houses out like in a lava experience, like in Waikoloa Village, where it's like, you're in a barren landscape and then you're basically in an oasis where the town is. Up in Holualoa, where kind of like Eric and I live, looking behind Eric's head, you see the greenery. It can be very, very lush, tropical. Some people might call it overwhelming for landscaping. And then you go down to like, let's say somewhere like, where Hilo, where the entire section of the whole side of that coast is super, super green, lush and wet. And so being here and putting your feet on the ground and driving around and kind of seeing what feels good to you is going to be paramount if you have not lived on this island or been here on vacation before, because it is so different. In fact, we showed them also a house next to where Scott's house was in Akamai, and they were at the elevation and it had just started to rain, but they could see right below us that it was completely dry, and sunny, and just that elevation will just change everything. And so, I definitely, I give you guys the advice that, you might want to come and actually put your feet on the ground around here. It doesn't look like Lance is going to be able to join us today. I have a question for you guys, and we'll start with Scott. In terms of life on this island, what did you do that was the most memorable thing when you were living here? What really rocked your boat in terms of being able to be on this island, and what did you do?
You put me on the spot.
Well, you loved your house and you had loved the landscaping. You must have loved being outside doing the yard while you have a beautiful view. But is there anything else that made life here like, the bomb diggity?
Actually, I think it's the people more than anything. I mean, we came from Colorado. I think people just kind of get into the rut of their day-to-day lives. People leave their garages, they go to work, they open their garage, they go in, they get into their house, and it's just kind of, everybody lives a very isolated lifestyle to a degree, at least from my experience. It's very regimented. You have your day-to-day, and the same is true in Hawaii, but yet there's definitely that aloha, right, that everybody talks about, but I think it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is until you experience it. And I think that's the thing that for me, I enjoyed the most about living in Hawaii, and the experience overall is not necessarily anything day to day, but just the people and that aloha spirit that existed. So
that's a good one. That's a good one. Jana, you?
Okay. Lots and lots that I love here. Number one, the warm weather that's very consistent year round. I think it's just a healthier lifestyle. I'm in 2 canoe clubs. And, I go to the beach all the time with my girlfriends. I have lots of friends. I'm in like a book club, in a mahjong, and, anything that you're interested in. If it's somebody's very interested in astronomy, we have the state-of-the-art astronomy here, and there are a lot of groups that are interested in that. So it's really lovely to meet all. It's like Scott said, everybody here is just friendly. It's a very welcoming place. And personally, I like to get up in the morning and sit on my lanai and watch the sunrise over Mauna Kea with a cup of Kona coffee, which is pretty darn nice.
That's cool. Amber, what makes your heart sing about being here?
Well, my favorite part about the Big Island is just the epic nature that we have. And it's sometimes just easy to take it for granted because it's just part of everyday life here. And I was just saying to someone the other day, and I think you and I might have talked about this recently too, Julie, is how amazing it is that just like on a random weeknight, I can drive up and see lava, see a lava lake, see amazing stars, walk down to the water. I mean, that's something really, really special. I also have to agree with Scott, the people 100%. It's just a great place to live because of the nature, but it's really the people that make it.
Yeah, that's the quality. And then Eric, what about you?
So I'm going to go a little bit slightly different here. On the mainland, there's always kind of a buzz that's going on. We lived in Silicon Valley. We lived in Los Gatos and Sunnyvale and Campbell, and the whole area. And there was always kind of like a a go kind of atmosphere going on here. And one thing that I'll say by coming here, you feel very calm, whether it be Pele or whether it be just the remoteness or whatever you want to call it, but it's a very relaxed kind of place. And it just feels easy. You just sit here and you just feel comfortable versus all the time I gotta do something, I gotta go somewhere, gotta make it happen. You don't have that quite that feeling here. I mean, you can do things, but you don't have to. And just sitting there calmly is very pleasant as well. You know what I mean? Having your cup of coffee, looking over at the top of the sunrise come out, or for us, it's sunset. We watch the sunset come on regularly. And just to take a little bit of time and just to be one with nature you feel part of nature here. You don't have that. You're in a city. You feel like you're part of it.
There you go. And I'd say that I have friends visiting right now. And today we went out on a boat and we got a chance to go out and see some pilot whales, which I hadn't seen before. And we also went into a bay and swam with 100,000 fish in a fish ball. And then we went to another place. I got a chance to see a crab this big and a lobster and a moray eel. So having the opportunity to do the things that people only vacation get a chance to do it. We get a chance to do that when we show our friends a good time. And like Amber was saying about the lava, everyone's going up to see the lava lake, and Eric and I got a chance to go the first day, and we can take people up there. We're taking a group of 365 Kona newbie people up to see the stars on Saturday night. So the ability just to like do epic things on this island, I think is one of the best things too. And obviously all those epic things can be done with some of the best people on earth who actually buy a house and move here and stay in our ohana. So, unless there's some questions, I know that we have a couple people on the call. If you guys have questions about the mortgage market or any specific real estate experiences, also for our people who are watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and leave questions for us. We try and get to those, and we can also answer them if you guys want us to. We can do that for the next episode. So if you guys don't have any further questions, we will thank Scott and remind you that if you are looking for a mortgage and you really want to like brainstorm some ideas about how to use your financing in the best possible way when buying a home here on the island, please reach out. In the comments below, you'll have all of his contact information. And Jana is amazing. She has helped me with 2 home sales now, and she's great for listing. And if you guys are thinking about selling, not just buying, our group around here does all both. They're amazing people. And then Amber is your go-to source for things in East Hawaii, and she is an amazing realtor. And also she knows so much about the craziness of all the things about lava zones and everything else. Reach out to her. And obviously Eric Ziemelis is the man and the man with a plan in Kona. We are really enjoying meeting our buyers and taking them around. And I think that we offer a really good tour of not just showing housing, but actually explaining life on this island, which I think is part of the whole value of being part of this group, that we all can help you with that. So we will see you guys next month. And thank you people for being part of this. We love your expertise, and we will say aloha. So see you next month.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.